Are there certain professions that attract more workplace bullies than others? Years ago, when I wrote my essay on workplace bullying, I initially devoted it primarily to workplace bullying in schools, which is not the bullying that takes place among the students, but the bullying of teachers by other teachers, which is an all too common phenomenon and one that is not very well known and very poorly understood. And I did that because I was working primarily in the field of education at the time. However, I've worked in a variety of industries, ranging from low-wage service jobs such as babysitting and waiting tables to the professions, translation, travel, journalism, and again, education. And I can report after almost 3 decades of being bullied in the workplace that I was bullied pretty much consistently throughout all of it, leading me to conclude that workplace bullying as a form of narcissistic abuse is an equal opportunity offender that truly does not discriminate against culture or line of work. However, in my essay on workplace bullying, I included a section entitled "Teaching Attracts Bullies" to explain why there is so much bullying of teachers by other teachers. Pretty much everywhere in the world, teachers work very hard for very little money, but in my culture at least, teaching is becoming an increasingly blue-collar profession, one that suffers from not only economic hardship, but also societal disrespect. All too often, teachers have to take on additional work, maybe even a second job to supplement their income, even though their career already requires a university degree. And at the university level, things are not much better. Most American universities take advantage of this horrible system of adjunct professors who are basically contract workers in a gig economy and sometimes not even given their own offices in the narcissistically abusive workplace bullying technique of withholding, but held to the same standard as tenured professors and expected to deliver the same quality service. Throughout the society at large, the disrespect for educators is unparalleled. When you tell people that you are an educator, they look at you as though you just said you're a stripper or a prostitute. And I attribute that in no small part to about 40 years of a concerted effort on the part of the government to systematically roll back the progressive reforms of the New Deal and basically privatize everything, even education. And I believe that free access to quality public education should be enshrined in the Constitution as an amendment. This is also the culture of complaint, and teachers are increasingly held hostage at the mercy of their students, who are not students but clients. The client is king and the customer is always right. And teachers are increasingly expected to fulfill duties that are nowhere in their job descriptions, such as basically serving as a parent, authoritarian, and disciplinarian for students in a culture characterized by broken, dysfunctional families. All of that amounts to a pretty miserable situation for educators in America, and I do not envy my colleagues. They're unhappy, and they take out their unhappiness on the nearest warm body, which is their colleagues, which sometimes is, in a nutshell, what workplace bullying is all about. And we've all had teachers like that, this unhappy woman who is clearly not in it for the money and not in it because it's a service profession, but because she's a controlling person who just likes to tell other people what to do. And that's the problem with workplace bullies. They're not the boss bae, they're not even the boss, they're just bossy. However, if I were to revise my essay today, I would write not that teaching attracts bullies, but that bullies are attracted to teaching, and by extension, any profession in which there are positions of authority, which workplace bullies as narcissists erroneously conflate with power. The real pandemic afflicting humanity is narcissistic abuse. Narcissism has been compared to a virus, and narcissists have been compared to vultures, which is appropriate because vultures are native, I believe, to almost every continent except Antarctica and Australia. So the false gods of narcissistically abusive workplace bullying are not just in education, they're in any profession in which there are positions of authority, which is any profession, but especially the law, ranging from politicians to judges to, most visibly, cops. And current events have shown us how the narcissistic lust for power has played out in that profession, whether it's teaching and nursing or medicine or law. A lot of the careers that contribute authority figures to society also happen to be service professions. They are in service to the public, or at least they're supposed to be. But narcissistic workplace bullies appear a little confused. They're not exactly focused on public service. Instead, they're focused on the same thing that all narcissists are focused on all the time, which is aggressively dominating and controlling anything or anyone in their environment. Even when workplace bullies have no authority, they're still bullies. They didn't found the place, they're not the leaders, they don't have any subordinates, but they walk around as though they own the place. We've all worked with workplace bullies like that. They think they own the place and will proceed to bully you with any one of the numerous workplace bullying techniques that I have identified. A workplace bullying environment is very much a game of whack-a-mole, about literally putting back into her place any target who has gotten out of line and failed to submit to workplace bullies' false authority, sometimes only energetically, lending new meaning to the image of the iron fist. To say that workplace bullies are obsessed with power is an understatement. It's also a false statement. What they really are obsessed with is control. But workplace bullies as narcissists erroneously conflate power and control because they have absolutely no idea what real power is. So that's a summary of a point I want to make about an attraction to authority that is a possible cause of workplace bullying. If you'd like to read more, I've written an essay on workplace bullying. It's on my website. I include that information in the description. The reason that I create this video series is to establish a forum where targets of workplace bullying can share their stories and experiences in a kind of support group, so you can know, number one, you're not crazy. Workplace bullying is real and your feelings are perfectly valid and justified. And number two, you're not alone. Unfortunately, countless others have experienced the same thing. So I look forward to reading your comments and I'll try to respond. Take care.